There are many misconceptions about why we have, or many people have OCD. It is seen as a stereotypical obsessive nature about caring about hygiene or obsessing over things and other people. That's a huge misconception. Nonetheless, in this video, I wanted to explain why you have OCD so you can get into understanding what the disorder is. I'm a firm believer that to overcome disorders and to overcome your issues, you have to simply identify where it came from, why you have it, and how you can overcome it. But that first piece is how and why do I have this disorder? I struggled with this question for many years. I beat myself up for thinking the way I did. I was always anxious as a young kid, especially in school with social situations. But even outside of class, I always tended towards being alone, anxious, and I always hated myself for having and being that weird kid with anxiety. To put it clearly, you have OCD from a multitude of factors. OCD is an anxiety disorder. And anxiety, according to doctors, stems from both environmental and genetic based things. Let's attack the environmental thing first because it makes more sense. Your environment shapes you in a way. If you grew up in a kind of chaotic household, maybe a traumatic situation happened to you, you're likely to be anxious later in life. Now, it does not have to be something insanely traumatizing, but let's say, for example, I'll use my example. I think that my anxiety stems from a young age where I was away from my parents for a little while. My parents, we moved to Canada, and my dad had to stay here for a little while in the Middle East. So that was very anxiety inducing and traumatizing, and I'm not blaming them at all for the situation, but I think that pushed me over the edge in terms of my anxiety and really made me a lot more anxious and more tolerant to more tolerant, no, that's not the word, like sort of more susceptible to anxiety. Now, that's the environmental section, and I think it's 50-50, but there's also the genetic factor. Studies show that many people who have anxiety disorder, their parents and their family members are also susceptible and highly susceptible to anxiety disorder. My mom had anxiety, and I think that from her side of the family, I got that sort of issue. Now it's kind of a chicken or the egg thing. What comes first? And does the environment cause you to be more anxious, or does your genetics cause you? I'm not sure, but to simply know that it's not your fault. It's not your fault you have these issues. This goes for a lot of anxiety disorders, especially OCD, but it could be chronic anxiety disorder, whatever it may be. So again, anxiety disorders are extremely multidimensional, very complex. And if you have these things, try your best not to attack yourself. You simply have these issues because something may have happened to you and something in your brain makes you the way you are. Rather than looking at it as a bad thing, try shifting towards being grateful that you have this superpower. It sounds crazy from the outside perspective, I know, but simply just viewing something that's bad as good, because what good will come from viewing it as bad? I know I'm straying away from like the video's topic, but there's no benefit to viewing something as bad. Simply judging the thing is bad enough. And if you see it as bad, it does no harm, it does no benefit to your life. But if you look at the benefits of having these illnesses, for example, OCD, you can easily obsess over things. Sure, you may be anxious, but you can overcome that. You can overcome that anxiety. But what you have that other people don't is that obsession. Same with depression, right? I was depressed for a little while. I tend to care less about other people now. Now, it's 50-50 about how good this is. But at least I'm able to focus on what I really care. And I don't care if I don't have friends because I can focus on my goal. So, yeah, It's from the brain. People with OCD, anxiety, have this. Simply love yourself and move on in life. Okay? It's not your fault. Stems from environment and your genetics. That's it. All right? Have a good rest of your day.